Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel SGKmistry lectures. So in this video we'll be talking about what are coordination compounds, what are their types, and also what are the basic differences between coordination compounds and double salts. So let us start with understanding what are coordination compounds. So before that we should know what are complexes. So complex is a substance in which a metal atom or ion is associated with neutral species, or it can be also negatively charged species, which are called as ligands. So in a complex basically we have a metal atom or an ion and ligands, and whichever compounds have these complex ions, we can say those are called as coordination compounds. So based on this we have three basic types of coordination compounds. So before understanding that, we should also know that coordination compounds as a whole is neutral, but based on the type of the charge that is present on the complex, we have three types. First one is cationic complexes, in which these coordination compounds have the complex ion which is carrying a positive charge. So let us take the example of cuprammonium sulfate. Okay, so we have this particular cuprammonium sulfate as the example. We know that sulfate is negatively charged, so of course this overall charge on this complex ion should be positive. So the complex ion here carries a positive charge, so this particular compound belongs to the cationic complexes. Talking about the next one, that is anionic complexes. So very simple to define. Here the complex ion bears a negative charge. So let us talk about the example of potassium ferrocyanide. So we have potassium ferrocyanide. So we know that potassium, it carries a positive charge of course, and here if outside the bracket, outside the complex ion, if it is positively charged, overall we know that the compound is neutral. So overall the charge on this complex ion will be negative. Calculating how it is negative, calculating the oxidation state, all these things we'll be learning a bit later. But for now, let us try to understand the classification of these coordination compounds in general. Next is the neutral complexes. Very simple. These complexes do not give ions in solution. So we have the example of nickel tetracarbonyl. Okay, so how is it neutral, and what are neutral ligands, what are charged ligands? All these things we'll be learning about it a bit later. So for now we know that the overall classification of coordination compounds based on the charge on the complex ions that are present, we have these three categories. So let us try to understand the differences between coordination compounds and double salts. So after understanding this, it is much easier to understand more about coordination compounds. So let us try to understand the difference in double salts. When we are talking about the double salts, the example is ferrous ammonium sulfate or more salt, and coordination compounds you can take many examples like cuprammonium sulfate, potassium ferrocyanide, etc. So here double salt, these double salts, they exist only in the crystal lattice. But whereas when I am talking about coordination compounds, they can exist either in the solid state or in the solution form. So this is the first difference. The next difference what we are considering here is that in case of double salts, the physical and chemical properties of the double salt is similar to that of the constituents which make up the double salt. Whereas in case of coordination compounds, the complex, whatever is formed from its constituents, the complex has different property when compared to that of its constituents. Talking about the third difference, in case of double salt, the metal, it shows the normal valency. Whereas in case of coordination compounds, the metal ion or the metal atom is surrounded by a large number of neutral or negative species which are called as ligands. So here the valency is more than the normal valency of the metal. So here the metal exhibits more valency than its normal valency. So examples, very simple. For double salt we can give the more salt as the example. FeSO4, NH4 twice SO4, 6H2O. This is more salt, ferrous ammonium sulfate. Whereas coordination compounds you can give any examples. So let me take the example of cuprammonium sulfate. So here there is a complex ion that is there. So we know that it is a coordination compound. So these are the basic differences between double salt and coordination compounds.